Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat. I'm Bob Lennon, president of Thermalwood Canada, and your host for today's show. Our special guest, Alan Doucet. Welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you very much, Bob.
So, Alan, you've been involved in basketball for as long as I've known you. You played yourself in high school, and then you played after that, and you were involved in with the high school basketball team. And City of Bathurst made a big announcement here last week about the Bathurst Bears, and part of the and I always say East Coast, but it's not East Coast. It's Eastern Canadian Basketball League.
Yep.
And so we're one of five, and they might be announcing a sixth. I think that I kind of heard that through the.
Yeah, I kind of wonder about that too. I'm waiting on another announcement, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a couple of big cities that are always in the loop, and they weren't in.
No.
So. Be nice if they weren't for once, and then we're top of the heap. So that's good. But a professional basketball team coming to Bathurst. My question is that what does that mean to the youth, to the kids of our region?
Yeah, Bathurst. I've always said that Bathurst had in basketball had the athletes, had the coaching. What they lacked is two things. One, if you're going to play with the big dogs, you got to get off the porch. So anytime in the North Shore, you got to travel.
Yeah.
It's part and parcel. And the other thing too is the role models. When you're looking at Moncton, St. John, Fredericton, you're always going to have the university towns, the university squads that are there, and kids can go out and watch high caliber basketball there. So what about the high school kids here? They don't, or the middle school or the mini kids, they didn't have that around Bathurst, other than watching NBA is not the same thing. I mean, it's like, you're watching $1 million athlete.
Yeah.
So they have that role model to say and be able to talk to them. And one of the things that during the press conference I was mentioning to how beneficial this will be to the youth of the community and the young players when they want to get involved, they look over to somebody who has played Division I basketball or played university basketball and said, okay, what will it take? Well, you got to train, you can eat right, and you can't be on the roads all night and expect to be an athlete.
Yeah.
You're either an athlete
or you're running the roads all night.
Running the roads all night. So, you dedicated to your sport. And so they're going to see and be able to talk to a high-profile athlete, someone who's played the game all their life, someone who has worked at their skill, at their craft. So.
Well, the other thing too, that how I look at it too, and you can agree or disagree with this, but I still think that it's a goal for these young kids that they're all playing. They go, well, now I know this is a reachable goal. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm getting off of the porch, but I'm going over to the neighbors.
Yeah. And
rather than I'm getting off the porch and, well, I've got to move to LA or to Toronto or to someplace else if I want to see that caliber of stuff or want to play there.
Yeah. And I mean, although it's not the NBA, which is more of a higher profile, or the D League, but it is a very good quality basketball. It's going to be good quality basketball because you're having ex-university players. Like Tim Kendrick, the president of the Eastern Canadian Basketball League, said at the press release, 50% of the roster is either going to be of Canadian players or players that have played in Canadian university. They're going to be very familiar with the product on the floor, whether they played university ball in Canada or they're Canadians that want to come home and have played in the States.
Yeah.
So
and there's also a contingency there of Atlantic Canadian players too, right?
Yes.
Because this whole league is all Atlantic Canada.
Yes.
There's nobody outside.
Yeah. I mean, you could have players that are from the West Coast that played in University of Calgary or Laval.
Well, this brings not only the basketball, it's a business too, right?
Yes.
So, the drafts and those things happen that, it brings a whole crowd of people from all over. And then these guys got to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
And so they're not like, the Quebec Major Junior, they got to be billeted out. These guys are professionals. So you expect them to buy a house or apartment or whatever. They're going to be going out and doing their groceries. They're going to, bring you stuff. They're going to be out in the community. There's a whole pile of other stuff that piles up. You can't just look at the game itself.
Exactly. And one of the things where I was impressed with, first of all, I was impressed with the reporters. The media that was at the press release was asking some very good questions. And one of the questions was, okay, how much money, the taxpayers' money in Bathurst is going to be spent? Zero.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And because of that, you might have people say, well, what's the trick here? Why the Bathurst Bears? And why didn't the community get involved in naming the franchise? Well, the franchise is not owned by a local; it's owned by the league.
Yeah,
and they want to be in our community for a long, long time, and it's going to add to our community. It's not going to take away. I mean, as a basketball player, I've given up the fight being in a hockey town. Fighting, it's hockey versus no, it's hockey and basketball.
Yeah,
you don't have to make choose one over the other. I watch both sports. I play both sports. I love both sports. Best thing about this community too is you have the Teton. Now you're going to have the Bears.
Yeah,
and if you want to watch one night and watch another one the other night, the league is apparently going to run in March, April, May, and when the Teton go into the playoffs, well then. It's not one or the other. It's when they're out of town.
Yeah,
the Bears are playing.
But it's amazing, and we talked about this just before the interview. Mm-hmm. Is that there's a series of things that have happened over the last year.
Yes.
Last summer we announced, I believe we were number 4 in all of Canada of places to move to.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good news. Yeah. And just a month or so ago, we talked about National Geographic had dedicated an award to the Nipiziguit Migma Trail as being the one and only adventure location to go to in all of Canada and one of 20 in the world. I'm sure, and I don't know the workings or how they got everybody together, but this happened fairly quickly is what I believe. But there had to be a lot of the good stuff that's happening here that put Bathurst on the secret's out. Yeah.
Everybody loves our area when they're in it. I mean, when the mine was operational, I've talked to people that I've known through the mining community, and some people that have become friends of ours and have bought property in Bathurst for retirement. When they were here, they said, I used to think Bathurst was the center of the universe because in our community, whether they were in Sudbury or they were in Australia or whatever, and other people community they were either going to Bathurst or coming from Bathurst, being a large mining town. Yeah. And then they came here and fell in love with the place, and some of them have brought retirement property here. A cottage here or whatnot. My heaven on earth is my cottage in Janeville. Right on the bay. Yeah. And it's just wonderful. I spend my summers there and it's just great. And all my kids, they want to come home. They like nowadays, like you said, we talked earlier, we have people coming back to our community. They can be online, they can live in Bathurst, and they can do the job everything online like that. So it's great.
So everything that's happening and everything that's going on is going to help growing our community. Definitely. It's going to help in many, many different aspects. Yeah. And I really appreciate that you came in today for this interview and talked to us a little bit about that because you're bringing it from another angle. Yeah. And, we got to get people to believe that we can make things happen. We got the area to present to the world.
And one of the things is that they want to be involved with our community. They felt they're in our community and they are going to promote our community as well. They want to be involved with whether it's promoting our community or promoting the game of basketball or promoting healthy living or promoting positivity. And that's really stuff. There's a lot of positive people around here, and we just have to be louder. Positive people have a lot of patience to deal with the negative people or the apathetic people.
Yep.
That, they say, okay, you're like that. Okay, now I know how to handle you. Okay, good, fantastic. I choose to be an optimist.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels better. I like that.
Yeah.
It just feels better.
Well,
And
so do I.
Yeah. And so where I live, I was born and raised in this place, and that I call home, and chose to raise my family in it. My wife and I both chose to live in raise our family here, and we could have moved other places, but I told her,
Alan,
I said,
it must have been the water on the street, because I just lived down the road
exactly.
from you. So
You and I played
yeah,
hockey together.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So again, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you very much for talking about this and speaking out about the positive things that we have for the area. I think this is great news, and appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to it also.
Yeah. Season ticket holder.
Yeah. And there we are. Another episode of Northern Heat for this week, the places you come to listen to the stories that haven't been discovered yet.